Okay, so background looks a little different. There's a vacuum handle on the other side of the screen, and hopefully the goal is this weekend to clean up this room and get it organized. So hopefully I won't be so embarrassed about the state of the rest of the room and might not need to use that sheet if it's not super sunny behind me. So this is 34 and 35 week update. I'm just making another note so that I don't forget. So, what are we sitting at? My weight is 148 pounds. So that is up 27 pounds. So I'm still kind of on track to gain just over 30 pounds. What else? The baby is the size of a honeydew this week. Again, 2 week update. I have not been the greatest about updating everybody, unfortunately, because I feel like things are kind of the same too, so it's harder to get in the groove of actually going and filming when I feel like all I have to say is, it's the same as last week. So in general, every 2 weeks, there's a little bit more of a change, but from now on, I have appointments every week. So hopefully I will have some information every week. So, nursing update. I'm still nursing Kaylee. She is nursing once or maybe twice a day. I am still having a fairly strong aversion to her nursing, so I nurse her for as long as I can. And as of the last couple of weeks, she's actually not nursing to sleep anymore. She stays awake. It's like nursing keeps her awake. So she is nursing, and then once I can't handle it anymore, I unlatch her and she falls asleep in my arms while rocking on her rocking chair instead of nursing. So it's actually taken a huge relief off my shoulders that if she wakes up in the middle of the night once the baby's here, or if I'm unable to put her down to bed, that she doesn't need to nurse to sleep. In fact, she doesn't nurse to sleep anymore. So I think we have officially weaned her nursing to sleep kind of on her own accord, though, which is exactly what we wanted to do. She's 28 months. It took 28 months to get her so that she doesn't need to nurse to sleep, and that's kind of where we're sitting. The aversion is still quite strong. I can only nurse her for probably 4, maybe 5 minutes at a time, and then after that, I have to unlatch her. The contraction, my stomach just contracts so much, I start to feel nauseous. I don't feel well. It bothers me. It makes my skin crawl. I can't handle it. So I go for as long as I can, but she's still got her eyes wide open while she's nursing. And then once I unlatch her is when she lays her head down in my arm, in the crook of my arm, and just kind of snuggles in or snuggles on my chest, closes her eyes and goes to sleep. So, like I said, huge relief that I'm not going to be the only person who can put both children to bed. We are going to try with the next one doing an eat, play, sleep cycle instead of play, eat, sleep cycle to try and avoid nursing to sleep. But with Kaylee, she slept for such short periods of time when she was little that we wanted to just make sure that it wasn't the fact that she was hungry and that was why she was waking up, because she would only sleep for 30 to 45 minutes at a time. And lo and behold, we did end up finding out that she had both a lip and a tongue tie. And so she was hungry. But she sleeps really good now. It always comes to an end. She's going to sleep at some point. At this point, she doesn't nurse at all at night. She nurses for nap, and she nurses before bed. She nurses for nap if we're home, and she nurses before bed. And if she happens to wake up in the middle of the night, I go in. She goes, "Urs?" I'm like, "No, we don't nurse at night anymore." And she literally just lays next to me and goes back to sleep. So even that's not a temper tantrum anymore. There doesn't seem to really be any temper tantrums regarding nursing anymore, which is really nice now that we've set some good boundaries. She's used to them. There were some really good temper tantrums at the beginning, but now they're much more peaceful. What else have I got? Colostrum. There seems to be a fair amount of colostrum because my nipples are still tender. So they still hurt when she latches on initially, and so I pre-stretch my nipples every time. And even in just the pre-stretching, I'm getting colostrum coming out, and so I know that I'm definitely producing lots of colostrum. Exhaustion, I've fallen back into that phase of get nothing done for a day or two because I'm so tired, so then the next day I'm like, I have to get something done, and I overpush it, and then I spend the next 2 days too tired and too exhausted and in too much pain to get anything done, which then everything backs up, so then I'm doing this cycle again, and excuse me, I'm trying to get out of it again and just make sure I'm doing a little bit every day. That's the goal. A little bit every day. My husband has been relatively supportive, and I don't think he quite understands how tired and exhausted and unmotivated I am, and just how much pain I've been in. So it's a little bit hard for him to understand that, but he is helpful as much as he can. He ends up needing some downtime too when he comes home from work, so that's why things tend to pile up a little bit. So the pubic bone pain had, what is it? Today is Friday. So today I'm actually 36 weeks. Over the last few weeks, the pain in my pubic bone has become unbearable to the point where I'm not sleeping. I can't sleep. I can't roll over. If I try to move in bed in the middle of the night, it actually causes my eyes to tear up because it hurts so bad. I can't run with my daughter. I can't sit on the floor because sitting on the floor hurts. Everything hurts. So I finally bit the bullet and I went to a chiropractor. I went yesterday, and today has been really good. He was checking things out, and he did mention that there is a lot of movement, more movement than he typically sees in my pubic symphysis, and that he likely won't be able to fix it because we are very late into pregnancy and it's just so inflamed. So he worked a little bit more on the joints in the back, a little bit into my hips as well, and a little bit on the front, but more so the joints in the back to get them to loosen up so that my pubic symphysis isn't compensating for lack of movement in my other joints. So it was a little bit weird. I've never been to a chiropractor before. I didn't really consider it at all. It kind of seems like a weird, not alternative, because I know that there's a lot of science base with it and I'm very sciencey, but I don't like cracking my knuckles. I don't like cracking my joints, and the idea of it kind of grossed me out, but it worked really well. He had an amazing pillow. I want one at home. It's one of the ones that you can lie on your stomach even in your third trimester. So comfortable for me to lie on and go, I don't feel like I'm pregnant at all. It was so comfortable. Came home yesterday very tired and actually quite sore yesterday, just like muscle inflammation kind of sore in a few spots where he did adjust me, as well as in my pubic symphysis. But last night I was able to sleep on my side with a pillow between my knees, which I do anyways, but before I wouldn't be able to. My pelvis would just start aching. So I was able to sleep on my side. I even slept tired. I even slept. I slept 3/4 prone, which is like kind of on your stomach with one arm and one leg pulled up. That was comfortable. It still hurt to roll over and move in bed last night, but overall I slept much better. So I'm going back to see him again next Tuesday. I'm very excited. 5 more days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 4 more days. 4 more days and I'm going to see him. He wanted to see me once more before the baby was born and then come back after the baby's born just to do some final adjustments. So I'm excited. I'm hoping our extended health covers it. I'm in Canada, so we've got like our medical services, our universal health care, but I'm also hoping that my husband's extended health insurance will cover the cost. It's $70 for the initial visit and then $50 for each subsequent visit. So it's not horrendous, but it's still expensive. But if it means that I can sleep and I'm happier and not in pain, then I'm all for it. I don't mind spending the money. Midwife appointment. So I did have a midwife appointment 2 days ago. I'm measuring a little bit smaller. So when I was how far am I? I'm 36 weeks. So when I was like 33 weeks, I was measuring 30 weeks. Like I was measuring 30 centimeters. And at my next appointment, I was still 3 centimeters behind. So at 34 weeks, I was measuring 31 weeks kind of thing. And for like the last 2 consecutive appointments. And then this last appointment, I was measuring 4 centimeters below. So I am starting this downward trend where my fundal height isn't growing as it would be expected. As well as the baby's heart rate seemed a little bit slow at the beginning. Like when she first put the Doppler on, my blood pressure is a little bit higher than normal, but still completely within normal range, just higher for me. And when she put the Doppler on, listening to the heartbeat, we could hear it, but it sounded a lot slower than it typically does. So she didn't have a stopwatch on her at that time. She was just listening to the heart. So she went and got a watch, came back, and of course, by then, baby's heart rate has gone up. She's like, that sounds faster to you, right? I'm like, yeah, it's definitely faster than it was a minute ago when we were checking it the first time. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. I have another appointment on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, so it's Friday now, next Wednesday. And I'm curious as to what my measurement is. I'm going to try doing a little bit of spinning baby kind of stuff because I'm wondering if I'm just measuring so slow or so small because the baby is just so far into my pelvis. So I'm going to do a little bit of spinning baby action, maybe hang off the couch a little bit to try and get the baby to come up a little bit. One, to make me more comfortable, but also to make it a little more realistic in numbers. See if that changes it at all. It might not, because by the time that I get to my appointment, the baby's going to have settled back down wherever it wants to. So the heart rate was a little low, but it was normal when she actually checked it. And my blood pressure was a little high, but not dangerously high. But my blood pressure was going up with Kaylee at the end too. It just never reached anything that they were at all concerned about. It was just high for me. And measuring small. But other than that, we're just ticking along. The midwife has suggested to really start looking at getting things ready because we are 36 weeks as of today. And she said even the birth pool, because even though I'm not 37 weeks, here where I am, you can have a home water birth, or you can have a home birth as of 37 weeks on. But the chances of me going into labor in the next week are pretty slim. So she recommended, yeah, definitely you can get your supplies for a home birth already and get that good to go so that we're set, because next week I'll be getting I think it's next week I get my home birth box and things like that. So I'm going to get a pool from them. We need to get all of the other stuff organized and just kind of start prepping. I don't have the pack and play that the baby's going to sleep in yet. I loaned it out in August and I'm going to be getting that back shortly. Set it up, make sure we can fit it in our room, because Kaylee didn't sleep in our room from day one. She slept in her own room. And so, well, until she stopped sleeping through the night, and then she started sleeping in our bed for most of the night. But this one we are going to start in our room because we only have a little 2-bedroom place, so there isn't anywhere else for the baby to go. What else have I got? I'm going to try and do it right, like as soon as I'm done recording this. I'm going to insert a video of my belly movement. One of the things that the midwives had been recommending was icing my pelvis. And I did start doing that. I don't know if I mentioned that in a previous video, but I did start doing that, and the baby doesn't like it. Let's just put it that way. It's pretty amazing how much that baby can move when it's so cramped in my uterus already. But I got some really good video the other night of it moving around. Since then I have stopped because now that I'm 36 weeks, they're worried because the baby doesn't like the cold. And they're worried that the baby's going to try and get away from the cold and end up flipping. Because right now the baby's head down, and it has been for a few weeks. But they really don't want to cause the baby to flip by me putting an ice pack down by its head. So we're not going to do an ice pack. The chiropractor did recommend maybe just using one single ice cube wrapped up in a cloth to apply very precise cooling just for the inflammation on my pubic bone. And I haven't given that a shot yet. I went to last night, but we didn't have any ice cubes in our upstairs freezer. And I was just too tired to go down and find some ice in the deep freeze. So I might try that tonight and do it just very concentrated. But I'm going to insert a clip of the wild movements. There's someone knocking on my door. I'm not going to answer it. Other than that, I think that's all I've got. Hang on one sec. I'm curious as to who this is. Okay, I'm back. So maybe I should have answered it. I got there, and by the time that I snuck up there, we've had a string of religious people coming to our house to try and convert us, and I've just gotten so sick of it, and so I stopped answering the door when they come, because even though I keep telling them I'm not interested, I'm not interested, I'm not interested, I'm sorry, I'm an atheist, I'm not interested, they still keep coming back. But this was slid in our door. Supernatural likes our property. They're looking at filming locations, and they like our property and house. So I'm going to contact them later, and maybe we'll get some money for having Supernatural filmed at our house. That would be really cool. So where was I? I think that was pretty much it. I have midwives appointments every week from now until the end. We're getting so close. 36 weeks. 4 weeks to go until my due date. They're anticipating that I will go all the way until my due date, only because I didn't go into preterm or early labor with Kaylee at all. But those contractions, the Braxton Hicks are really strong, and the contractions that I get when she's nursing are very strong. So I think as of 39 weeks, I'm going to let her nurse as much as I can possibly handle to see if I can stimulate some labor. And I'll let her nurse in the morning so that hopefully I don't have to wake anybody up, like the photographer or the midwives. And before my husband goes to work so that he doesn't have to go to work. But I think that's all I've got. I'm looking forward to Cairo. I will do belly shots. I don't really have anything else in my notes. This baby's sitting in the same position that Kaylee did. Head down, back up my right side, feet over to my left side. Very lopsided sometimes. The chiropractor noticed that yesterday when I was there. As I was lying on my back and he was pulling on my legs and things, he could see the stripes on my shirt were very, very lopsided. So I will do my belly shot. Let's see if this is going to work. Let's raise this chair up. I'm using a different chair now because I was worried that, well, no, the stool that I was sitting on actually really hurt my pelvis too, and I'm always looking for ways to not hurt my pelvis. So I'm not high enough. Okay, I'm going to try standing up. Let's see if this works. Or if I'm going to kill myself. Ba-dum, ba-dum. A little bit higher than normal. Here, I'll bend down. So that's sideways with the shirt on. Doo-doo-doo. Can't really see anything. Here, let's tip the light. Oh, that makes it much better. So there's straight on. Sideways. Raise the shirt up. Push the belly band down. So there is side. Straight on, definitely getting big. But I still feel much smaller than I did when I was just pregnant with my daughter. So I don't know. I just feel smaller. Let's turn that down. Whoa. Get it off shining off my face. So other than that, I don't think I really have much else to say. TMI. I don't have anything. Sorry. Nothing there. But I will talk to you guys either next week. Probably next week. I'll probably try to do these a little more. I know I said this last time, but I'll probably try to do them a little bit more regularly. Now that we are getting pretty close to the end, and I know that things are going to start changing, and I have more appointments now, and we'll find out if I end up needing to go for another ultrasound and get a growth scan done or not, or if the baby will be within a reasonable size come next time. Other than that, we'll talk to you guys next week.